What do we make of the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks yesterday? Green Bay gets a shutout. Defense looked pretty good, but the return to play for Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, Brady Quinn, you're the quarterback of this show. What the hell did we see yesterday from those two guys?
Look, I think we kind of saw what we expected from Aaron Rodgers to a degree. Those are always tough matchups between the Packers and Seahawks. But I don't think he looked really rusty. I think he looked fine. And on the flip side, it was kind of what we talked about with Russell, like concerns about the finger, which it looked like there might have been a slight tape job. I'm not sure if there was really much else. But you saw the inaccuracies when he tried to push the ball down the field. I don't know if you guys felt this way. I was watching him throw, and the ball just wasn't jumping off his hand like it normally was. The spirals weren't as tight. Those are all the things you worry about when you've got a mallet finger like that, which is what he's dealing with. So it was kind of what I expected to see. It was the first time. How about the first time they haven't scored in a game that Russell Wilson's played in? I saw that stat. I was like, is that possible? They've never been shut out since Russell Wilson's been a Seattle Seahawk, which is kind of incredible if you think about how consistently good they've been. But it's going to be an adjustment for him, fellas. Like, it's not just this game. It's going to take a bit until he adjusts to whatever this new normal is throwing the football for him.
They certainly had a sense of urgency to try to get at least 3 points on the board. I've never seen anybody do a 50-minute drive, a 50-minute routine trying to get points, but they certainly were. So that game was over, but they were still trying to get some points. But listen, when I looked at the game, he definitely was inaccurate, and you could tell that, there was a difference. Now, in terms of the entirety of watching this game yesterday, I think you just got to give credit where credit is due. Both of these defenses played a well of a game, and I felt as though it would be a defensively led game. I thought that would be a few games this weekend that would be defensively heavy games. This was one of them. And, just to see the way Green Bay, kind of rallied to the ball, made big plays when they needed to make big plays. I don't know that the game goes too much differently if Russell Wilson is healthy. I mean, just the way that they were playing, the coverages that they were playing, the way they played the run, you got to give them credit. They had a very balanced attack. You would have thought that maybe they would give you more on offense. They weren't as explosive, but in terms of the balance that this team brought, they did everything I needed to see in a victory to prove me correct in my assessment and my assumption that they've got to be the lead team in the NFC when Aaron Rodgers is playing in the game.
And Russell Wilson talked about the injury following the game.
My finger felt fine, the problem with tonight was I had two bad plays, That's what it really was. It felt like we were moving the ball pretty well. But I felt confident, we should have won that game. Our defense played great. Guys battled throughout the whole game. I don't second-guess anything. I have 100% confidence in our team and what we can do and what I can do and what we're going to do. It's really what my mindset is.
Unlimited mindset.
By the way, isn't lying a sin? Lying is a sin, right?
It was more than two bad plays.
Well, I'm just saying, because when he says his finger, it felt fine. I'm just, that's a lie. It clearly didn't. I mean, clearly there was an issue. You could tell the entire game. So I don't know what we're.
It might have felt fine. He just didn't get the results he was looking for with a finger feeling fine.
All right. I mean, listen. I thought we were.
Freddie got fingered, man.
All right.
Just to put it in this perspective, okay, I don't think he's been below 50% all year as far as his completion percentage, all right? And I think you'd honestly would have to go back through probably, I don't know, a couple of years, maybe like 2019 before you've seen something like that. Last year, I think was the first time we saw him not throw a touchdown pass and a couple of picks. I mean, it didn't look the same. Like, he could say it felt fine or whatever, it wasn't the issue, but it was. He doesn't want to admit it. And now he's mentally trying to build himself up to overcome that. And that's fine. Like, that's how, again, look, I'm sure it was the same thing with his height at one point, where everyone told him, you're too short, you're too small, you're not going to be able to go to the league. And he continually told himself, that's not true. I'm going to prove everyone wrong. I'm sure he feels the exact same way. He's mentally convinced himself his entire life of that. And so I'm sure he's trying to do that right now. But the reality is he came back too soon. They should – I mean, you could say, well, he gives them the best chance to win when healthy. Well, I don't think he's that close to being 100% healthy. And I think you need him like a week or two more to be able to feel more comfortable throwing the football, more accurate throwing the football.
Are they better off with Geno Smith?
No.
I don't think they're better off. I think Geno might have given them just as equal of a chance to win that game as Russ did. Because the other thing you notice is we could talk about the Packers' rush. He seemed more conservative in wanting to run around. And, like, there was a couple times where usually he can kind of shake off because he's gripping the football and he's, like, using one arm to shake a guy off and get away. He almost immediately covered up with two hands and just kind of went down. And that's the other thing that you kind of forget, too, is how good is his grip on that ball compared to what it used to be, or how confident does he feel in that grip?
It can't be. It can't be good. And
No.
you're 100% correct. I mean, he's making sure he has ball security, which is that's the proper approach in that scenario. But from my perspective, I do not think that Geno Smith gives them the same chance of winning. Just me. I think that the leadership quality, the belief factor – and Russell Wilson, it's not even close. And that team is a different team. And
I'll tell you this much.
Go ahead.
Did you think that, he was rusty at all calling plays in the huddle? It seemed like he had practiced, maybe by himself. I'm just saying.
He was ready. He was definitely ready to go.
I mean, hey, bro,
Hey, let's go.
when he got down on that knee and got in the huddle, started telling I was like, no Russ there.
Yeah,
no Russ there.
There was 100% execution on calling the plays in the huddle. You best believe that. And he made sure he let them know, whether you guys are here or not, this play is coming out. It's going to come out. And so is the ball. The ball's coming out.
Okay, so when is this going to be healed? Is it this season, or is this just going to be where he's at the entire year?
It's healed. It's a new normal. I mean, LaVar, you can speak to this. At any time you have an injury, it's never going to go back to what it was.
Correct.
I mean, dude, they splice you open. I mean, you cut off nerve endings. There's going to be things that an orthopedic or a doctor tells you. It's not true. It's never going to go back to feeling how it did before. You had a pin shoved in your finger, and then they literally take a pair of pliers. They block your arm so you can't feel it, and you can watch, like I did because I'm a psycho, you can watch them pull those pins out.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
Jesus.
And it's like you sit there and you go, okay, like how's this? No, it doesn't feel like it did before. It'll never go back to feeling exactly how it did before. And so that's the reality is he has to now adjust and adapt to a new normal. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so is the new normal, can he still be effective?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Of
All right,
The further out, it's like anything else, right? A person loses a hand, they figure out how to do things. They lose their air. Well, it's the truth. I mean,
no, I'm with you on that. I'm just saying it depends on what you use the hand for. You know?
I mean,
you are the worst.
It's unbelievable.
Like,
I don't understand.
Little bro is the worst, man. Let me tell you something.
Like, can't you just leave Urban Meyer alone? Like, I don't know why we have to keep bringing this up.
What about you on the sideline? Doing sideline security.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Now, that certainly would be a challenge.
I mean, this is, we're trying to do a professional show
Pocket
here.
pool would never be the
Someone
same.
threw a flag. Someone threw they reached no, you can't reach in your pocket.
Nubby pocket pool. I don't know, but I'm just saying, man. People do adapt and they do adjust, and then when you assume that, NFL players are the one of the highest caliber of athletes, and Russ is an athlete. He'll adjust and he'll adapt, but it certainly looked as though it's going to take some time for him to figure out that new norm.
So that's how they do it. They splice you open and they stick a pin in there. Wait till it gets healed, and then you get to look at them.
They put because the pins are coming out of your finger.
Yeah,
they're coming out like they're sticking out. So yeah, they pull them out.
God,
they take pliers and they literally pull them joints out of your. Like I had them in my wrist, but they literally pull them joints out. And depending on how long those pins are. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, they don't want to come out. That's part of the problem, man. They're in there. Your bones healing, everything's setting. And the pins are like, oh, it's kind of cozy in here. I'd like to hang out. I'd like to hang out a little bit. So
they gotta wiggle them
Ew.
sometimes.
Yeah. No, dude, this doc,
Oh.
this doc,
Oh, my
he
God.
literally put his foot up against my chair, and like two hands was like pulling this thing out.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is unbelievable.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm
I
telling
swear,
you got to pull them bad boys out. bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
What are you
yes.
like digging post holes?
You
Like,
got,
what are
bro.
we doing?
You got because the stuff is hit. They're there to make sure it's set.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
So once it's set, you're pulling that bad boy out of a bone. So it'd be no different. It's the equivalent of pulling a nail out of a piece of wood.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what
Hey,
it is. That's what
Oh,
it is.
man.
By the way, I hope everyone's enjoying their breakfast croissant or
Yeah.
their coffee or
Hey,
whatever
man.
else this morning.
Hey, listen. That's why you wait to eat until later in the day.
We're going to
All right,
pull
I have to
those
tell you.
pins right out of your hand. We're going to pull those pins
That
right
is,
out of your hand.
That is just nasty. All right, it is 2 pros and a cup of Joe. Happy
Ew.
Monday morning to everybody out there.